It's another exciting day at the farm. A little windy, not the best weather. I apologize for the noise you hear in the background. Another digital shovel mini pod fan has failed. Also, those Bixbit immersion dry cooler fans make like a weird high-pitched noise. Just they've always been like that. But this box is another DG1. This is the Elphapex DG1 Dogecoin miner, Litecoin miner. It's the best script miner in the world. 11 gigahash a second, 11,000 gigahash a second. I mean, I am excited for this thing. So let's go ahead and pop it open. This looks very similar to the other one we've got, DG1, 11 gigahash a second, QC pass on top. It's using their power supply that is using 2 C13 connections down here, just like the Bitmain Antminer series. The fan connections are a little bit different, but essentially it's a big silver box and it's got 2 fans on the front, 2 fans on the rear. Now, what you need to know if you're thinking about getting into Dogecoin, Litecoin script mining, so these are some of the most profitable miners out right now. Dogecoin is the second most profitable coin to mine in the world. It has taken position number 2 back from Kaspa. And God, that fan noise over there is terrible. I'm sorry. I'm excited to add it to the mining farm. And I did have a couple issues with my previous one that I was able to sort out. I'll run through that. But let me put the camera down and get this thing deployed. And then we'll jump behind the screen, talk about the issues, how to fix them, the price, the profitability, real world mining profitability numbers, right? We'll break it down, everything in between. My name is Vosk, you're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. We're out here at the very loud, annoying VoskCoin Mining Farm. Sorry. That's just how it is some days. It's just how it is. All right, script mining is getting kind of crazy. Let's check this thing out. Remoting into the device. This is my original one, and this is the recent edition. So both of these miners are performing well. And one of my main issues I've had with the Elphapex DG1 is it throws its hash rate all around your other mining pools. I was able to solve this just by simply only using one mining pool. While that's not ideal, it at least has me mining at full power capacity in the exact place I want it to be. The pool rejection rate on here is pretty good, all things considered, getting at 0.14% and 0.13%. We look at the average total hash rate. Both of these devices are pretty similar in their performance. The prices on all miners keep creeping up. So this is not a cheap miner, but it is pretty profitable. But there's some crazy news that came out that we're gonna talk about here in a second. Let's look at that clear mining profitability though. So I have the DG1, and then I just call it the DG1 mid. It's at the middle of the rack, or it's to the left of this one, I think, in the pod. The point though is I'm showing you 24-hour hash rate. These are not significant at all. Rolled over just to check the backup pool. So we see those good 24-hour hash rate performance, which is actually above what the miners say they're doing inside of the dashboard. When we look at how much Doge we mined between both of those miners, 276 Doge. And you see that's relatively average over the last 10 days. It's a little bit high, but it's a good day. And it balances out the fact that we mined a little bit less Litecoin for the sample that we're gonna use here. This is our daily Litecoin mining performance because, again, remember, this is merge mine. Script is a mining algorithm where Litecoin and Doge are merge mined on the same algorithm at the same time, basically. It used to be all about Litecoin mining. Now it is truly all about Dogecoin mining, because between both of those miners, I did not even mine $6 worth of Litecoin. Yeah, not very much. And Litecoin is just always a lackluster performer in this era. Down 20% in the last year. And if we take Doge, we mined 276 Doge coins. That's worth $42. And Doge is up 71% over the last year. And that's after going down 22% just in the last 7 days. So 42 Doge and we'll round up and say about $6 of Litecoin. So that is $48 of daily mining profitability, which is about $24 of daily mining profitability per device. At 10 cents per kilowatt hour, which is my current electricity rate, that costs me about $8 a day to run. So I'm pulling in $16 after I account for my electricity bill daily. So let's take that 16 figure, we bust it out over 365. It's about 6 grand. If we take 24, right, 365, it's almost $9,000. It's a very profitable machine. And the Antminer L7 miners, which have similar but worse performance, have been and continue to be very profitable machines. But look at this behemoth, the DG1 Plus. This just dropped. The performance is higher, but the power consumption is very high. I'm worried about being able to power something like that. That is starting to exceed 30 amp electrical circuits potentially. It is questionable with what sort of power connections can handle that kind of power draw 24/7, especially in hot environments. While the efficiency does get better, the price gets worse, hash rate's higher, and the scalability with really most people's existing mining infrastructure becomes really concerning there. So with the news of the DG1 Plus, which they're at a conference in Dubai right now, and I guess they were excited to drop that there kind of at the same time, try to get some buzz. Well, Bitmain didn't like that, so they said, we're gonna pull this one out. Which the rumors from Bitmain reps that they did not have the L9/L9 ready, and now they say that it's gonna release next month, proves that the Bitmain are liars and they will just never tell you the truth, and they operate a cutthroat business. They did, as we all have speculated and kind of expected, have this in their back pocket. But why one up yourself, right? That's what they think. And Goldshell has done this before, where they released a down-spec miner, right? And then a couple months later, several months later, they release a way better version that they already pretty much had and developed. Not the best business practices, not at all. Frustrating, absolutely. The key thing to take away from this though is 0.21 joules a mega hash. And if we compare that to 0.27 joules a mega hash and 0.31 joules a mega hash, it's significantly more efficient. So the L9 is going to be a much better miner. Reportedly, they barely have any of these. It's going to be a very expensive, small batch, much like we've seen with like the KS5 and the KS5 Pros from Bitmain. So it's interesting, and honestly, it kind of makes me feel crappy for doubling down on my Dogecoin mining when there's a much better performer right around the corner. However, I will say the best time, generally speaking, to get into mining is yesterday, and then today, and then tomorrow, right? We've talked about that before, but basically, the more you kind of sit around and mess around, time just flies right by you. And I have these miners deployed. I am hashing coin. I am, collecting little Doges and LPCs right now. So I'm adding to my cryptocurrency portfolio. I'm building the mining farm, and I'm getting closer and closer and closer to my break evens on some of these miners, because I ordered the DG1 the second it came out pretty much, and that's the first DG1 that I have, and we talked about a bit previously on the channel before we went and expanded our Dogecoin mining force. I have some small mini Doge miners and things like that deployed on the mining farm, but when I look at my big boy miners, I have 4 full-size Dogecoin miners. I have 2 L7 Antminers, as well as 2 Elphapex DG1s. So it's interesting, it's disappointing that there's not only a better DG1 out now, but based on the specs, I don't really want it. And then there's the L9 coming that would probably be much better suited for really most miners, as far as Bitmain knowing how to build miners better, generally speaking. We'll see though. Yeah, script mining is literally, truly heating up. And I'm kind of intrigued because I don't, all of this, you know, has been kind of buzzkill negative towards the DG1, but I don't really think, we'll have to see, that the DG1 is out of the game yet. Because how many L9s are there? How great will they really be? And how much will they cost? If it's a 20 grand miner, it's so much less interesting. And Dogecoin has been doing well. And I think Dogecoin will continue to do well if the market stays hot and we really get a full-blown altcoin crypto bull run. And if that's the case, L7s, DG1s will be selling over 10 grand a miner, let alone the better counterparts of the DG1 Plus in the L9. So I'm happy to have more miners and expand the mining farm and expand it that way some, because Bitcoin mining profitability for me is just in the gutters with the halving, especially at my electricity rate. So I have to be cognizant of that and try to operate my mining farm in the best way I possibly can, given my circumstances, which is basically high power, or high power cost. At least until we get those rates down, which is something we're actively working towards. And it's time for me to actively work towards checking out my CDO, or Chief Dogecoin Officer here. Run 10 seconds of Tails on every video. Tails is the beautiful Dogecoin and Doge owner of VoskCoin. I'm just a guy that sits here and yells at the camera all day. So this is the scoop on expanding the Dogecoin mining profitability on the VoskCoin Mining Farm, as well as the recent L9 and DG1 Plus news. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe. If you're looking for a mini Dogecoin miner, well then check out the Gold Shell mini Doge miners. Those miners are fun. They're a great starter miner, hobby miner, stuff like that. But no, they do not compete in profitability or efficiency compared to these industrial grade miners. If you want a cheap Bitcoin miner, check out our recent video on the little Nano 3. It's a $100 Bitcoin miner. But I'm not trying to push gear on you. I'm just trying to remind you that while we're focused on industrial grade miners today, there are a lot of fun little mini ones to get started and decentralize these cryptocurrency networks with. Again, I am Vosk. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. I hope to see you on the next video.